Well, welcome everyone to Fantastic Sam's 12th meeting. We are so happy that you are here. Uh, we can't believe that we've 12th meeting and when you meet quarterly, that's a long time. So on behalf of Vanessa and Molly and myself, we're thrilled that you're here. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Uh, we do meet quarterly. We encourage you to invite anybody in your region or even your chapter marketing or other leaders to attend. I know that from our RLC meeting that we were part of last February, the team coordinators, I believe, are meeting, and I believe Sally Ryerson, who is here, headed that up. And are they meeting? Do you have a set time?
We've met twice so far. And yeah, small group. Hopefully we'll gain more. I'm not going to be able to be at contest this year in Columbus, and was looking forward to connecting with people there and talking about it some more. So I'll trust that the rest of you who will be there will encourage people to join us on those.
I believe that the membership coordinators are also trying to get together from different regions. So I'm glad that it's sort of become infectious and contagious because, why recreate wheels when we can just, all be in one smooth car? So without much further ado, unless anyone has questions about anything, we are so excited to have Sandi Wright with us today. Uh, is there anybody here who doesn't know who Sandi Wright is? Because I could go on and on and on. Um, I got an email or actually a message, and it said Sandy Wright wants to know what Fantastic Sam's is, and I'm like, you're kidding. So we had a lovely chat, and I'm thrilled and honored that she is giving us her time today, and she's going to talk about the International Thrive Initiative and kind of how marketing can play into that. I know that that initiative is still kind of a conundrum for many of us in our regions, and we're trying to still get it started. And I apologize, I have an upper respiratory infection that's kind of kicking my
Ooh.
butt. So I'm going to mute myself and turn the floor over to Sandy. And if you have questions, put them in the chat and I will try to monitor that. And maybe Molly can also help monitor that so I don't talk so much. And I'm going to end Sally as Sandy as the speaker.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's all right, and give you just a little bit of an overview of this Thrive, the initiative that Sweet Adelines is it, that it's underway to retain members, and it's kind of a little bit of the rationale behind everything, and it's only just a few minutes, and then I'm going to take that down, and we'll just open the floor, and if I can help, I'm happy to. Just as a little preference, a lot of you know my work with Sweet Adelines, but that's what I did for a living. I was marketing. I was marketing, public relations, development for nonprofits, and spent my career fundraising and creating events and marketing strategies for nonprofits in St. Louis. I'm from St. Louis. David and I bought a home in New Orleans about 2 years ago, so that's where we are right now. It's 95 degrees and
Tediously investigating.
I am on Zoom.
Sorry.
That's okay.
okay. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, and I need to have all of this sound optimized and stuff because there's a video in here. All right, let's see. You should see my desktop. I hope that is happening. And I'm going to make it big. So it's the Sweet Adelines, this is the website for Thrive, and it really has everything that you need to know about it right there, and a lot of templates and a lot of questionnaires, and it's an acronym to help regions increase vibrant engagement, and so that job has fallen to all of the regional leadership, to be specific, since it's almost impossible for Sweet Adelines to meet with every chapter in there, all 600 of them. But it's a little bit more manageable for the regional leadership to get to know their choruses a little bit, either through visits or Zooms like this, and just kind of find out where they are, take their temperature, and whatever they need. There's probably something on that website that'll help you get this all done.
Choral music is not one of life's frills. It's something that goes to the very heart of our humanity, our sense of community, and our souls. You express, when you sing, your soul in song. And when you get together with a group of other singers, it becomes more than the sum of the parts. All of those people are pouring out their hearts and souls in perfect harmony, which is kind of an emblem for what we need in this world when so much of the world is at odds with itself, that just to express in symbolic terms what it's like when human beings are in harmony, that's a lesson for our times and for all time. I profoundly believe that. And musical excellence is, of course, at the heart of it. But even if a choir is not the greatest in the world, the fact that they are meeting together has a social value. It has a communal value. And I always say that a church or a school without a choir is like a body without a soul. We have to have a soul in our lives. And everybody tells me who has sung in a choir that they feel better for doing it. That whatever the cares of the day, if they maybe meet after a long day's school or work, that somehow you leave your troubles at the door, and when you're sitting there making music for a couple hours at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters at that moment. And you walk away refreshed. You walk away renewed. And that's a value that goes just beyond the music itself. Of course, as a musician, I put the music at the heart of it, but all of these other values just stand out as a beacon. I think our politicians need to take note. My gosh, do they ever. And our educators, those who decide education budgets, church budgets, just need to remember it's not a frill. It's like a great oak that rises up from the center of the human race and spreads its branches everywhere. That's what music does for us. And choral music must stand as one of the supreme examples of it.
So I like to put that in because sometimes we forget the why. And our choruses sometimes forget why we do what we do. And what John Rutter, the point that he made was that it doesn't have to be the best chorus in the world. We're not all Scottsdale, but there are reasons why we need to be together and why we're lacking a sense of community. and that fills that void. So every chorus, big and small, has a community, has a culture. And we're going to talk a little bit about culture in just a few minutes, but let's find out exactly what happened. So Sweet Adelines was about, well, more than 20,000 in membership. And then there was in about 2008, we began to see the economy kind of tanked a little bit right around there, and we started losing members. Then COVID hit, and COVID changed everything. All of a sudden, we went from weekly rehearsals to no rehearsals, and that was devastating for our organization. We the chorus became an online bubble. That was our only connection to other people, was through Zoom. And if some choruses couldn't do Zoom, they ended up in big trouble. We lost lots of members. We are now down to about, depending on who you talk to, between 14 and 16,000, and that's a big loss, because that's revenue, and it's also a need that isn't being filled by people, women who need that sense of community. So we have this online bubble going, and let's put that back up again. And then the fear of large crowds gathering. We couldn't have conventions. We couldn't even have rehearsals. And so it became really terrible for all of us who depended on that weekly connection. That there was an uncertain economy. People were losing jobs. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to go remote. Those people who were in restaurant and retail, many of them lost their jobs because restaurants were closing, retail establishments were dangerous places to work. And so the economy became really unstable. There was a decline in discretionary spending. We didn't know what the future was going to look like. Were we going to have health concerns? Were we going to have a, a loss of income, and just basic needs that were not being met? So that decline also, discretionary spending like barbershop, like Sweet Adelines, became an issue. There was a big change in loyalty behavior, and we're going to talk a lot about that. That probably was one of the things that contributed a lot to our loss. Is what's important? Where do I go next? So we learned online technology. Thank goodness for Zoom, because all of a sudden we were able to meet, at least if nothing else, just to see the faces of the people that we miss. Telemed came into its own. All of a sudden we didn't have to go to the doctor anymore. We could actually see him online and describe our symptoms, and certain things could be sent in, and we could get diagnosed and get prescriptions through telemed. DoorDash was not it. That wasn't anything. And all of a sudden we could order food from restaurants and have it delivered right to our door. Zillow, you could buy a house. We bought our house here in New Orleans, just by finding it on Zillow. Carvana, you could buy a car. You didn't have to go to a showroom and sit in it. You could find the color and the style, and it would be delivered right to your city, and then you could get it. And then, of course, rehearsals on Zoom or FaceTime or Facebook Live. So we could actually, it was hard to sing because of the latency, but we were able to at least connect, and we could sing along in our homes. I always tell my members that I didn't know if they were actually singing, but their faces always looked good, and they were mouthing the words. And so if they weren't singing, they were fooling me pretty well. And we actually gained members just because we had regular rehearsals. But a lot of those new members were remote members, and that's an area that we really need to embrace. We have members in small towns that would love to be members of other choruses, but before COVID, we had these rules. You had to be a certain number of rehearsals. You had to, there were just rules. And we threw the rules out and had them correspond directly with our section leaders. And so we have 9 remote members from other cities. We don't usually see them unless it's a coaching session and they can get in, or at contest. A lot of them, it's the first time that we see them, but they're on Zoom every week. We still Zoom our rehearsals. And remote members have really helped us because they're really good, and yet they aren't there every week. And things change and we have to go with the flow. If we want to retain and build our membership, we have to think of new ways to do it. Fear of large crowds. This was a big issue. Masks are still worn in my rehearsal occasionally, and especially if someone feels like they're vulnerable to autoimmune diseases and colds and things like that. It used to be we would never see somebody in a mask, but now it's just not such a big deal. Public places, we still have a fear of that, and so there are people who are still reluctant to go to chorus rehearsals. The online shopping boom, I mean, Amazon is just through the roof, and now other companies are also getting on board with online sales like Walmart and Target and places like that. But conventions are still struggling to get started. It's better, and it's increasing each time as people come back out. But conventions still tend to be a scary place where it could be a petri dish for a lot of diseases, including COVID. Concerts, we've seen a loss of ticket sales. And so our concerts aren't attended like they used to be. And so we have to find smaller venues, or we have to lower our ticket prices so that it's more attractive to our audiences. And rehearsals. For some of our choruses, that's still a crowd. And so we have to acknowledge that this could be a problem. And so offering alternatives is the way to go. Do we still Zoom our rehearsals? Do we expect our members not to come if they're sick? Things like that we've had to really alter our plans just a little bit. And just it's just different. Everything is different. And then that uncertain economy. Remember the toilet paper shortage. I mean, who would have thought that would have even been a thing? And yet, for a while, we couldn't find something as ordinary as toilet paper. And people had to make choices, food versus medicine. It was a depression mentality almost, like don't waste. Make good choices. Don't buy food that isn't going to be all eaten. And if we need medicine, get the generic form of it rather than the name brand form. And then, of course, job insecurity was in there too. And we found that a lot of people lost their jobs. And dues and contest justification. The uncertain economy made people really stop and think about where their money was going to go. Do I really want to spend this much money on dues? And if I do spend it on dues, can I afford to go to contest with an all events package and hotel room and in with a whole lot of other people who may be sick? So it made us all pause and think. Then that discretionary expense, there was a decline in discretionary spending. Companionship was more important than stuff, and we grew together as families. We had our own little quartet bubbles, and many choruses, because they couldn't meet, would meet outside, or in our case, we had a 3-car garage, and we just pulled all of the cars out of the garage and we stood 6 feet apart and we sang just because we had to, because we needed to. So that companionship was more important. than the extra stuff. Do we really need a TV in every room and a slick iPhone? Vacations became staycations. All these words, all these new things that have come up since COVID. Working remotely became the norm. But then people wondered whether or not they were going to be able to hold on to their jobs. It was really a scary time. And so our members began to ask themselves, what do I get for my dues? How important is Sweet Adelines in my life? And then something else happened. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room: loyalty. There was a big change in loyalty behavior. People that only went to name brand stores now were finding Costco and Aldi and places like that where they could actually get things cheaper. And loyalty behavior became a thing. Do I really need barbershop in my life? There was a loss of membership. We thought maybe we need food more than we need, or childcare more than we need that $30 a month dues or whatever your courses were. Um, a lack of consistent engagement to keep the tribe together. Many choruses just didn't meet. My own St. Louis Harmony chorus, I had just retired from it, and they had a new director, and she was very talented. But all through COVID, they didn't meet. They didn't. They didn't even engage, and people left. And it's no longer a chorus, which hurts my heart so much. But it didn't make it. It was a casualty. Um, People began to move to other choruses. Um, well, I'm not getting my needs met at this chorus, so I'm going to go across town or across the country through Zoom and be in this chorus. So there were movements to other choruses. And then just about that time, the Barbershop Harmony Society opened up their membership to everyone in harmony. And a lot of women, a lot of our members, uh, decided to give it a shot. And they went to a barbershop chorus that was a Barbershop Harmony Society chorus or a Harmony Incorporated chorus. There were other organizations, and some belonged to both, some belonged to all. And before, we would have never thought of jumping ship and going to another chorus, much less another organization. But that change in loyalty behavior really had an impact on where we spend our money and where our allegiance were. Also, we started to see a lot of dual or out of town memberships, people who belonged to all three organizations and three different choruses that met on three different nights. In St. Louis, you can go to the River Blenders on Monday night. You can go to Visions of Harmony, which is a Barbershop Harmony Society women's chorus, on Tuesday night, or you can come to my chorus, a Harmony Incorporated chorus, on Wednesday night. And so we do have members that are members of two or even three choruses. And we have to be okay with that. We have to realize that that change of loyalty is making us stronger and better. Organizational loyalty now, it's at the top of our pinnacle, but way down there at the bottom was validation and purpose. Every chorus needs to look at themselves, and all of you who are on this call need to look at the choruses in your region and figure out what their purpose is. What is it about that chorus that makes people want to put their time and money into it, and help them make themselves purposeful, ignite the motivation, boost the morale, create some team dynamics so everyone has a stake in the game, and that will build organizational loyalty. And so it really is an important step for Sweet Adelines to realize that it's super important for all of the choruses to take a look at what makes them important to their members, and to create that kind of an existence so that they want to come back. So Thrive is to help regions increase vibrant engagement. And the Thrive program, each region was given a sum of money based on their number of chapters, and regions can determine how to spend this money as long as the funding is spent on furthering the goal of chapter retention. How can we keep our members coming week after week and even grow? Although the Thrive program is really a retention program, not necessarily membership expansion. We just want to keep what we've got. And so we have to be competitive. We have to realize that there is competition out there and that we have to be okay with dual members and long distance members and members who belong to other organizations as well. So every chorus has a culture. And deciding what that culture is going to be the task that you all have. And every course is a different culture. When St. Louis Harmony was going strong, River Blenders was right in our town, and we kind of traded off wins. They'd win, we'd win regional, but we were very different in our personalities, and yet managed to hold on to as many members as we did. We were both near 100 at that time before COVID, and but very different cultures, different uh, uh, different beliefs, different attitudes, different rules. And so even though both were good, we were very different. And so you have to figure it out, a culture check. Where are we now? Our framework, our leadership, work, play, balance. Is it fun to be there? Each chorus needs to take a look at their culture. Who are we? What's our personality? What's our age demographic? And the song choices and the leadership. How do they handle their members? And what do we believe in? What are our values and our degree of excellence? Is it okay to be to win? Is it important for us to win and go to international, be internationally competitive, or is it okay to not and do a lot of performances in their city? So that's something that you all are going to need to check and find what that spark is that keeps people coming and capitalize on that. We don't want to change the choruses. We just want to make what they are better. And where do we want to go? What are their vision? What's their dreams? And help them get where they want to be. Motivation, that's use your singers and recognize them in front of the chorus. A lot of choruses don't do that. They don't celebrate their members, spotlight individuals so they feel valued, challenge and teach new skills, and then celebrate the accomplishments. And that will boost the morale, which will respect members by starting and ending on time, which a lot of courses do not do, but would be a good idea to do. Respect leadership by giving attention to the one in front. That's just respect. And have a rehearsal schedule and stick to it, or let them know during the week that there's been a change. Just respect for your members and build a team. The more we have a stake in our game, the stronger the chorus will be. Build a bench. I call it a bench. Every football team has a bench. They have a first string and a second string. And if your lead section leader all of a sudden moves out of town, who's going to be there to take her place? Every chorus director should be building a bench. Who's going to be there if the director gets sick? And or if the assistant director has to move or quit. It's really important to start building your legacy from the top down so that we know that something is going to be covered if something happens to one of us. And they're not going to be perfect at first, but they're going to be learning. And even if they do warm-ups or get to direct a song at the end of the night of their choice, that would be a fun thing to have just a regular member do. Build it, create a value for contributions. There's a lot of ways you can reward and just nothing more than the director saying, let's give Susie a hand for doing such great warm-ups tonight, and letting her feel that applause. Create value. Have retreats and coaching sessions so that your members will get to know each other. Have section rehearsals, and they don't all have to be within the chorus. They are within the chorus night. It could be on a different night at a different time. My bass section has their section rehearsals on on a different night, usually a Friday evening with wine and cheese. And I always tell them, they're a tribe of their own. They're pretty cool, but they know each other and they like each other and they sing like they know each other and like each other. It's really good. Laugh, sing, to get to know each other, and then go out after rehearsals for social time or build it into rehearsals. You could have fun games that you can do. But all of those things need to be found out when you're out there talking to the leadership of the various coaches. So the regional management team has been tasked with assessing the health of the choruses in their region. It's a big task, and that may mean going personally to each of your choruses, or at least having a Zoom or being in on a Zoom rehearsal so that you can see how they work and how they do things. And there's a chorus health assessment. And this is all on the website, all of these things here, that every chorus has to, have like a checklist of how's the administrative health, how's the membership health, recruitment health, how are they doing it? Are they financially strong? Is there a community relations and marketing team that's out there getting out there? But then there's just one more thing, and that's relevance. We're very quick to ask for money when we have a fundraiser or a concert, a show, for ticket sales, or to have a guest night and have people come. But how important are we to the community? There's some work we need to do with outreach. We need to be relevant to the community. We need to have relevance to the music that we sing and to the membership through testimonials, through other ways. This is just a short little thing, and that's pretty neat. And we could certainly recreate this.
Choir is important to me because you get to make new friends, you get to meet new people, and you get to have so much fun. Because it gives you a chance to express your singing.
And it's just been always such an important thing in my life. It's always been there, and it's very consistent for me. So it's kind of just a comfort.
Choir is important to me to meet new friends and have so much fun with other people that you just met. So is singing with them.
So I'm going to go on. There's more testimonials, but every chorus has testimonials like this. And it's so important because it shows relevance in your community. So who cares? Who cares about us? Stop harmonizing the wall and start harmonizing the world. I mean, there's just, do a flash mob. Go to take as many performances as you can and get out there, because what we tend to do is rehearse, and we
form and
forget.
operate a nonprofit organization.
This guy's boring.
Once your organization is up and running.
But it basically says be visible in your community, because nobody wants to give to you if you're not visible. And I always hear from people that they want to attract younger members. Well, maybe these choruses need to attract older members.
Can we hear cellos play your A's, please? Alex, you okay?
I read about it in the newspaper that they were looking for people that had their own instrument to come and learn how to play and be in an orchestra. This was an opportunity for me to do something for myself.
To BYU, one of the first things I wanted to do was establish an opportunity for undergraduates to take part in a laboratory setting with a New Horizons idea. So these are students who are going to teach strings at some point in their life.
Everybody air bow. Watch her bow or watch your music and listen to Rebecca playing.
They haven't had that kind of side-by-side experience with seniors in most circumstances.
The New Horizons group has taught me the importance of continual learning, that you're never too old to pick up a skill or to develop a talent.
My daughter played in junior high and high school, so it was her base. And then I was a little skeptical at first. I didn't think that I could do what my daughter had been able to do.
1, 2, 3, 1.
They told me that we need the bass to keep the tempo in the orchestra, which is true. The bass a lot of times does keep the tempo. I even notice it if I go out of town and I'm absent from rehearsals, that they will tell me, "Oh, I'm so glad you're back. We missed your bass while you were gone." "Oh no, we missed you too, Karen." And I've really enjoyed learning how to play the bass.
We support each other when we have problems. My husband had Alzheimer's when I started this, and he died about 4 years ago, but it was an emotional outlet for me from caring for someone constantly.
I just love music, and being able to play it is really an experience.
We come here for those moments that we play and we're one with the orchestra. And it feels like part of us. Doing that is, I can't describe that feeling.
New friends and old friends are wonderful. All of us have something in our lives at this age that worry us sick, whether it's family, our own health, our spouse's health, financial problems, or other family problems. But when we come to orchestra, that's our time to set those aside and to enjoy playing the music. We have fun.
Let's do that again, one more time.
And just as a final thing, I'm going to remind you of the 6 marketing P's, which every chorus needs to be thinking about. What is their product? Where do they rehearse? Is it conducive to bringing people in and to having people stay? What do they look like to the outside world? What's their packaging? Is it over sequined? Is it, can people see themselves in that chorus? Who are the people that lead them? Are they famous? Are they directors or Queens of Harmony? Are they judges or important people in their community? And what is the price? And that could be in time and in money, and how to promote it. And really, promotion is being good and getting credit for it. And that's, so first, being good has to be there. And that's basically it. So now let's figure this all out together. So how can I help you get out there? There's a checklist. Did you know that there's a checklist of some sort on the website that will take you through? So if you do a chapter visit, or if you meet with the management teams of these choruses, they can kind of answer the questions and you can lead them toward results.
Great information. Thank you, Sandy, for this. I know our regions are working really hard on this Thrive right now, and we actually started with we've already set up two sessions with 2 different choruses right now, and we're using we're sending out the survey first, kind of get a checkpoint and a chorus health check, which is valuable. We held our first one with the chorus, and we did a 5-hour session with them on a Saturday with their board of directors. And right now we talked to them about different styles and different management teams and stuff like that and what their need was. But it helped to have those questions done, because I went through all those questions and responses with them, because they're anonymous. And it was interesting to hear for them to even see everybody has a different view on their culture that's in their chorus too.
Yes.
So
Molly, did you send the chorus questionnaire out to all your members as a survey? Is that what you did?
I did it to just chorus leadership is what I did first.
Right. And then did they share it with their membership?
They did not.
Okay.
No, because the
Okay.
questions that are on the questions that are on that health
Mhm.
survey are kind of more geared towards the board of directors kind of
Mhm.
answers. And so, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I thought it was essential that we should look at maybe another one that would be more geared towards the members. And I was going to create another survey that would go to the members because I would love to get the members' input on what they feel the culture is. And then I can bring that back to the leadership when I meet with them. And so, and I think that might be something, and I'm willing to get suggestions from people and run it by everybody, but I would love to, but I was wanting to put something that was more structured to member questions for a survey.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we typically will survey the chorus probably twice a year. So definitely after a competition. So, and we definitely have a new member survey as well. And then we, as a team, will work through the initiatives that we feel are going to further the course. Not everything is going to get our time and attention, right? So, and then it's very important to then communicate back out to the members. This is what we're taking on. This is what we've done. Asking for help if we need to have side committees set up. So it's kind of a continual process for us. Because we want to have their feedback as well. But I think a membership survey would be great too, but not one that's terribly long as well. But we'll be meeting as a team next week and kind of going through the health questionnaire as well and diving into all those questions. But that's a mandatory thing, right, Michelle? I mean, each course has to return that back to the region. Yeah. Okay.
So we have sent it out to the leaders and marketing membership people.
Yeah. Okay.
He's in Region 5 with us. And so, yeah, have requested that every chorus send back the initial one that was on the website, the SAI website. And then we're going to try to go from there. But we have had some choruses already show interest in wanting to meet about different things. So we're negotiating that also as well. So, but I love the idea of, we kind of do little mini surveys, but I like the idea of getting a better feel for culturally per member within my chorus, So I think that'd be a good idea too.
I think, Sandy, one of the things we hear back from members that either don't end up joining the blenders, it's financial obligations, it's a big financial commitment. So, yeah, I mean, we are fortunate enough to have an angel fund, but I know a lot of courses may not have that. But any insight on, I don't know if this Thrive initiative would have any sort of funding for financial assistance.
That's a tough one because it in many choruses they're cutting expenses and actually cutting dues, or they're giving it. We escrow, a lot of our courses escrow the dues for the next year. Some courses have stopped doing that, and they're just charging their members for a monthly to keep up with, and then when dues time comes around for Sweet Adelines, they have to pay, the bigger amount. So, but some people would rather do that when they know where their dues are going. Some directors charge too much, basically. Back in the old days, the money was there. We used to be able to get it. Now, do you want members or do you want an expensive director? I mean, I think we're having to look at a lot of things that will require us to cut some corners now and then. As we got smaller, did we get a smaller rehearsal place? There's just all kinds of decisions that we're going to have to make in the future. And do we really need risers? Can we make it on steps? Can we do, and that's, we have to have risers. It's just how we operate, but it's an expense, and getting them put up and taken down if you have to do it every week is an expense. So, you know, it's cutting our own costs in a lot of ways, in a lot of places. If now that the visual communication rules have changed, a lot of us are getting our own costumes. You know, they're going black and gold, and that was a huge line item for choruses. And now it's just not that important. The rule, the most sequins wins is not a rule. So, you know, we don't have to do that. We can do black and gold or black and white or red and white, or, you know, and just have everybody find their own costume and cut that expense and then cut dues. You know, does it really have to be as expensive as it is?
I think I said Diana first with a question, and then we have Sally. So Diana?
No, it's up. I'm good.
Okay, all right, Sally?
Thank you. I'll try to be tactful with this question, best of my ability. I'm an educator, school teacher, longtime teacher, and it always impressed me that the principal, and they would come and go during my career, the principal had a great deal of influence over the culture of our school and our staff. And I feel the director of a chorus has that same role. They play a great part in the culture. And so I'm just wondering if, I don't know what kind of training Sweet Adeline does with directors, 'cause I'm not one, but is there anything that brings directors more directly into this process as a vital part of what is happening in our choruses?
I mean, certainly the director certification program is there, and it does have a cultural component in it of, you know, how they relate to their members. Anybody else want to answer that, that have had experience with it? It's a tough one. You know, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. You need a director, and if you've got a willing person, that's half the battle, is finding somebody who will commit to being there every week for your rehearsals. But
They're
they
not
also,
sorry.
but they might not, but they might not be the best person for the job.
Right. They may be a great, knowledgeable about music, a great musical person, but not necessarily a great leader of people. And it's hard to find a perfect combination.
Well, this is Leslie, and I'll just chime in. I don't necessarily have the answer to that because I think it's a very valid, real question. I think if you have a director that's certainly capable of the role, but doesn't necessarily have that big personality that will help with the culture, then I think it's important for the leadership team to assign someone that does have that type of connection with the chorus that can really build the foundation for the culture. So I think you almost have to have a dual role, figure that out within the chorus. I don't think there's a one size fits all. So that director, while it's ideal if they have it all, it doesn't necessarily happen. You know, there's not every director out there that has that. So, and sometimes it's even hard to find that personality that can engage with everyone. But I think it's worth really trying to find that at some level so that that culture can continue to grow and, you know, be contagious within the chorus. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, and more choruses are going to co-directors too, two people, which is great because usually one is pretty technical and right brain or left brain, and the other one is more emotional and left brain, so they can sort of be a whole brain.
Yeah.
The same person. And when I started with St. Louis Harmony, I came down off the risers. I didn't want to be a director. I don't read music, and yeah, but for everyone who didn't read music, there were 6 or 7 people who did read music. And so, I mean, my chorus still knows that if I need something plunked out on the piano, there's going to be 8 people that are going to be jumping off the riser saying, I'll play the part. And so you just get the help that you need and trust that, you know, they're going to give you the right the right thing. Not every director has all the answers. I know River Blenders just replaced a director, and um, Molly is coming with absolutely no experience as a director, but you can learn hands. Hands are the easy part. How to direct. If you've got the knowledge, that's. I mean, Molly and Bonnie are going to be a great combination together, just because they both they work well together, and Bonnie is so emotional and Molly is so technical. It'll be great. It's going to be a real success. And by the way, Bonnie is also my assistant director in Harmony Incorporated. So it's okay to have people that are floating between the two organizations. It's all right. It works. I think Cheryl.
Yeah, I would just like to encourage, if your director has not gone through the DCP program, I would encourage you to get that director to go through that. Our director had been directing my course for a number of years, and just a year ago, she came to my board and asked if we would be willing to pay for her to go through that program, and we were. And I honestly can say I saw a big difference in her personality and her knowledge and the excitement that she brought to the chorus. It was just amazing. I could not get over that change. She was, not that she wasn't motivated before, but it did something to her that really motivated her. And she took my chorus to a first place win at Region, which we have not won ever. So it was exciting for the chorus and just really re-energized my chorus. So I would encourage you to do that if at all possible.
Cheryl, we make that part of our director contract. So if they're not certified, we give them a year to go through the certification.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's a good idea.
And that's a great point that you make, Lori, is I think with the Thrive program, it also goes into there about talking to the leadership in each course on how to handle director contracts, because some of them don't have director contracts. How often are you doing them? Are you doing them? Are you doing the eval every year? What is in there? Are they participating in regional events? Are they participating in international events? Those are crucial things that need to be part of the contract. And right now, we're noticing when we're going into these courses and we're asking them, they don't have that stuff written, the requirements. And so those are good points to do. And I think that you made a really good point there, Lori, and what you're doing there. So that was a great call out on that. I think that will also help for also director engagement as well.
I can't say how important a director contract is. It really needs to be all eyes on it and evaluated it really seriously. Because in the end, that's what you have to stand on is your contracts. If you have to.
Your people, your personnel, that's part of the P. That's one of the P's of marketing, is how important are the people? And is that person, do people move into town and join the chorus just because there's somebody they know that's the director?
And I know that we've been working really tight with MRC, which is the Membership Retention Committee. They are there as a resource as well. So like if we find that a chorus is having issues, we are referring them to certain personnel on that team to also assist. So that's a thing to do too. And I think that's kind of what you were highlighting today, Sandy, on some of the stuff too, which is kind of nice, because especially I really liked your part on the loyalty behavior part. And I think that's also part of that culture and something that I think the MRC can also help our courses with as well.
I think that's important, the membership retention committee, because I think we're kind of at a time where people are reevaluating. I mean, and the Thrive program is born from that mindset of where are we at? I mean, we have to have growth. And I think that's why we're all here. And I think all of us have to step up and and take one step forward. We don't need to all leap. If we all just take one step together, we can do this. It just but if we don't all do it, then a few of us have to leap. And I think that's what's key. And whether it's, and I understand the director part is critical. And I think that some choruses, they're so desperate to find a director that they find a director and they keep that director, even if that director might not be a good fit. And I don't think that that's really ever a wise decision either, because that don't keep somebody just because you have to have somebody in front of you waving their arms, because
That's right.
It could be a reason why you don't grow.
And or don't survive.
Yeah.
Had the leadership of St. Louis Harmony had the courage to fire their director because she wasn't engaging the chorus on a weekly basis, it may still be a chorus. But people left. They just left. And that was just so sad.
Deborah?
You think you leave them in good hands,
Yeah, I had an opportunity, the privilege of serving on the MRC for about 6 or 7 years. And I can tell you that it is a wonderful resource. And if you've got a chorus that is struggling and has some internal conflict, they are a wonderful resource. Ultimately, however, they aren't the people that are going to stay with the support system, and that ultimately gets passed off to the region. So if the regions can have also a plan for providing some ongoing support while that healing of whatever the conflict is, because just going in, helping, diffusing, and then stepping away doesn't work. It really is, it does take that ongoing support from the region. The two big takeaways that I take from you, Sandi, today that I think are really, really key messages. One is the importance of flexibility, that our choruses really need to change their mindset and to embrace the flexibility and to be able to stand on moving sand as the water is coming in and out from the shore. And the second one is to make sure that the infrastructure components are in place that can support the environment as it's changing around, and that is the constant, so to speak. And I think that those are really, really important messages that come out of this Thrive program. Thank you so much. The presentation was wonderful.
Thank you.
So for our Region 13, we actually, I know Sally needs to leave, but I don't know if Sally wants to give a rundown or you want me to do it. Do you need to go? Okay. We actually summarized the international survey because it was quite long, and sent it out to all of our chapters, and then we have them back, and then we've summarized the surveys from them. And what was clear from the responses is people need, our choruses need assistance in really taking a step back and working on how to build a strategic plan, and how do you really look and form your vision and your mission, and how do you do those things. And as we've said in other meetings and in our own region meetings, you don't just know how to do those things, and in the nonprofit, you don't just know how to do those things. And then of course, obviously, membership growth. But a good team, it's like the the pebble in the water. It's gonna a good strong team and the positive energy that comes from that is going to create a positive energy in your chorus, which is going to create a positive energy in the audience, which is going to create a positive energy in the community. And so it really starts there. And so by building a strong infrastructure, like Sandy says, that is key. I'm actually quite happy that Sweet Adelines is 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 looking at the infrastructure, because we can have wonderful choruses that sing well, and we can have fabulous quartets that wear crowns on their heads like Sandy does. But at some point, those same 8 people that keep rotating on and off the chorus management team are going to be burned out and are going to say, Uncle, I cannot do this anymore. And then you lose them. And then look what happens. And so I'm happy that they're open to educating people on skill sets that are applicable to other things outside of Sweet Adelines. I mean, they're also taking a big step to teach us things that we can literally, if we were out looking for a job, I can go out and go to a job and say, I know how to do team building now. I know how to write strategic plans. I know how to write a vision and mission statement. I can do a business plan. I mean, those are things that our organization is willing to help us learn. And we have Sweet Adelines to thank for that. And not many organizations do that.
That's right.
So I'm very thankful that they're looking at that. I wasn't thrilled with that they told us in April that we had to start it in May, but other than that,
tools are there. But I mean, that website is just incredibly filled with resources.
Yeah.
And we have to, again, there's going to be something for everyone in there.
Can I ask a question?
The spin up about the financial stuff that Lori was talking about, that website for Thrive is also a good one for that too, as well, because it does go into fundraising ideas and grant writing and all that stuff too. And those are other ways to kind of help the financial part. So just wanted to take that on. Ed, Cherie.
What?
I talked over you. Or was it Diana that I talked over?
No, Leslie had something.
Oh, I was just gonna, yes, I think the resources are amazing. And it's really how do we empower people to use those resources that I think, is the job for all of us. I was just going to ask, and I don't want to change gears if we're not ready, but do any of you have any real great ideas about how we want to use these Thrive funds to help with retention? I get the picture. Now, today we have, actually at this very moment, we're having a wonderful first time virtual call on grant writing. And we have 35 or so people attending that call, a virtual call. We happen to have someone that works at a university that is involved in the grant writing. So that is one example. I'm sure there's many more, and I just was curious if you had any ideas that we could share with each other.
Region 13, we had our subcommittee Thrive meeting just 2 days ago. And the first step we're doing is we're sending out RFPs to bring somebody in to teach the teachers, basically, to bring our faculty together and teach them how to teach the chapters to write the mission, vision, and strategic plans. Because we feel that's kind of the best bang for our buck, if you will. It's not going to be helpful to do a giant Zoom with 750 people. It just is not going to work. it is also not the best bang for our buck to parse out $250 to each chorus, because that hardly would buy everybody a cup of coffee at Starbucks, you know. So that's the first thing that we're going to do is do that, and then we have every other year we have an event called SET, Summer Enrichment Training, and we're looking at bringing in a facilitator to work on the next level. Because SET is next year for us in Anchorage, Alaska. And there's a cruise one way on the way. If anyone's interested, or anybody in Sweet Adelines, let me know. And and to go to the next level from there. And so that's how we're hoping to make the best use of the funds, because we all know everything is more expensive now. And so you got to be smart with how you spend your money. You don't want to just willy-nilly go and spend money on things that aren't going to be helpful. That's just what we're doing in Region 13.
Is your Teach the Teacher, is that one-on-one in person with the individual courses, or is it virtual?
We're going to have them, we have it it's going to every other year we have the faculty retreat where all the faculty get together. And so we're going to have that person come to that retreat and work with the faculty on helping them teach the teacher.
Thank you.
In Region 6, it's Cheryl and I. Cheryl's on the meeting here too as well. Cheryl and I are setting up meetings with every single chorus, and we are also combining it with a faculty visit as well for musical excellence as well, so we can make sure that we're keeping that piece with each of the courses too, instead, because the chapter visits have kind of gone away in some ways. So we're just trying to keep that program going in that aspect by when we combine it together. And then on top of that, I did make notes here and more follow up too, but we are doing next steps with them and doing follow up programs with each of the courses as well, and setting up a plan with them and the touch base. But I know that's going to take time. So I think when we presented it to the whole in our summer school to all members to say this was going to be coming to their choruses and what it was about and to kind of give them an idea. But the money side, I don't know how we're going to try to appropriate it by the choruses, but that one's going to be a hard one for us to figure out this first year doing it.
Yeah.
How that money is going to be done and how it's going to be divvied up and where it's going to be.
How many states is Region 6?
Is it 5 now? Is it? No, we just lost Canada.
Oh, okay. Is it a big geographical area?
Yes.
Okay, because Alaska's huge. Our Region 13 is huge. We've covered 5 states, which is over 8,000 miles. And so for us to try to figure out how to get to every chorus is almost impossible. So that's sort of our stepping stone to visit in person, of course.
Oh, I agree. What is our farthest one is right now? Cheryl, I think, is probably Bismarck, right? It's her, and she travels a lot.
Yeah, North Dakota is the farthest. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Our tracks a lot to a lot of meetings and stuff in person, and it does get to be a lot. But we have about 5 states.
Okay.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
Is it 4 now?
It's 4 now.
Yeah.
So
I just think of the logistics on some of this stuff, because it's all nice when you talk about it on paper, but when you try to do the logistics with the distances, and our region's not even one of the most spread out ones. When we get to Australia and New Zealand, they cover a whole country. So
it's hard, yeah. And you might have to date for doing it on Zoom is what you'll have to do. We might end up having to do that too. Like for example, like Sheree said that they were doing the strategic planning. We had that part of ours too as well. So we did SWOT analysis, we did all that kind of stuff, engagement, but that can be also done on Zoom as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but it's got to be, I think, but not do it to everybody, like Sheree was saying, because you need them to be able to feel safe and feel open to be vulnerable to give us exactly what's happening.
Right. And that's why in person is so much easier, I feel.
It is.
Yeah. So, okay, just more food for thought.
No, great
It's
point.
hard.
Is it something you can do at your regional contest?
No.
Like on a Sunday morning or no? Okay.
Well,
It's
yeah.
hard. I don't know
I'm
about
just
you.
trying
Those are contests and it's tough. It's tough.
Just trying to think
They
of
have an RLT meeting.
Sunday people fly home from Alaska. I mean, if we're in Spokane, we have to leave at 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning to get home at 4 in the afternoon. So, I mean, so there's a lot of
trying to think of the concentrated, when where people are more together than
right. Yeah. So we have the regional competition, our set, which is our every other year in-person stuff. So we make it work. It's just, yeah.
Is your summer program an every other year program? Is that what you're speaking of?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're finding it harder and harder to get the numbers that we need financially at some of these events. So maybe in every other year, maybe one idea. I don't know if others are finding the same challenge, but we've always had every year summer seminar. But financially, it's getting more difficult. What?
We still have something every year on the non-set years, we do something called area school. And so we break up our region into areas. And so like there'll be a Western Washington.
Yeah,
Oregon
because of the geography. Yes.
It's just a 1 day kind of thing. And so it's sort of like little mini sets. And
right.
That seems to work well. Again, though, unfortunately, Alaska oftentimes draws the short straw.
Does the RMT travel to those different areas, or are they led by someone else?
Usually will go to at least one, unless there isn't one in Alaska, because I try to get Diana to do as much as possible, but I can only get her to so many things.
I still work, so.
And then there's that.
Yeah.
Sure.
That darn W word.
But yeah, regional meetings make sense too. So,
yeah.
I mean, area meetings. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel our region's very strong in a lot of things, but I'd still love to be able to do more in-person visits. So,
yeah.
So, before we we need to schedule our next meeting, but does anyone have I have a question for Sandy, but it's not Sweet Adeline's necessarily related, but I don't want to take us away from that. If anyone else has any more questions, but I'm curious about your John Rudder opening.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention when I showed the New Horizons Orchestra. I live in Iowa, northern Iowa-ish, and my husband's in a New Horizons band, and he started when he turned 60, and they over 80 members.
Wow.
So, and I think on the one point you want to get young people in, but on the other point, it's us retired, no kids at home, or almost near retirement, and have some fluid money, some dispensable money, so to speak. So
and
I
time.
think, yeah.
And time. And nobody says that you can't have daytime rehearsals.
That's true. That's
I totally
true.
agree with that. I totally
I
agree with that.
think we oftentimes think that the only members we want to recruit are, the young people. Well, heck, they've got children and families and jobs, and here we are, we got time and money, so and we can
So
still
we had set up the extension chords, which is our small ensemble, and the
yes.
majority of them are retired. So
And
yeah.
they do rehearsals in the daytime.
Yep.
And they're there to do those daytime performances and
Yep.
some weekend performances that others can't do. And it really
Yep. It's
miss
really
those.
worked out well. I would encourage that. And it's also like large quartets, right? And they get extra coaching and rehearsal time, and yeah, this is taken off like wildfire.
And they're also able to be out and represent the community
Yeah.
is what you want as well. So that's,
Right.
it's definitely a win-win, that's for sure.
And
Well,
that's part of
especially
the
when we
program.
can't get in 80 people into an organization for a sing out. They're a smaller group, they fit into the pegs a little easier.
It's
awesome.
it's just great.
Mhm.
It's and we just need to think out of the box a little more and expand what we used to think is normal. Nothing is normal
Yeah.
anymore.
I love that, Sandy. That's so true.
My new motto is that we need to get rid of the box and make a circle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's so good. That's good. I did drop a faculty evaluation form in the chat, and part of the requirements for being on the international faculty is to turn in a certain number of evaluations every time I do a
I don't see it.
presentation of any kind.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Oh, you know why? Because I didn't push the send. I dropped it in there and didn't make it go.
I'll make
You sound just like me.
I'll make sure it gets sent out with the recording.
I saw it in there, but I didn't send it. There you go. Thank you for telling me that.
Problem.
So Sandy, where did you get the John Rutter piece at the beginning?
On YouTube, I was just looking for the importance of singing. I just did a Google search.
So
and the JW Pepper, yes. It's part of their series. There's another one that's really good with Mac Huff Jr. that talks about barbershop and how important it is for the community.
I about fell out of my chair because this chorus that was singing, it was me. It was my chorus from the Women's Chorus of Dallas and the Turtle Creek Chorale. And
great.
John Rutter's Requiem. And those are the 2 years that we were Grammy nominated. And when we went to Carnegie Hall to perform, John Rutter found out that we were coming and came and asked if he could direct us. And
what an
completely
honor.
different type of director than we were used to. But you're not going to say no to John Rutter.
No.
And I mean, when I heard that, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. So I don't know if we get royalties for that, but I got out of my chair. I'm like, that's nuts.
It's such a small world, I'm
I
telling
know.
you.
I couldn't believe it. So,
but there are so many women out there that are looking for that belonging, that are looking to make their music. And they're of all talents. Some are awesome and some are moderately, just beginning.
Yeah.
We just need to tackle those people and tell them that's our why is the community. We come for the music, we stay for the friendship.
I mean, reach out to the Red Hat Society. I mean, I don't know how many people have Red Hat Society in their areas, but those ladies are a hoot. And, and if they can't sing, have them come to your shows. I mean, have them in your circle.
We need audiences too.
That's right.
I developed it's called the Harmony Road Show, and I take it out to chambers of commerce and luncheon meetings and things like that. It's just got a short history of barbershop. It's a PowerPoint presentation, short history of barbershop harmony and what we think of, and breaking some of the stereotypes. And it's got a cut of our chorus on there, and then just a little bit about where we meet and why we do what we do, and the emotion that comes from finding your voice, from learning to sing better. And I don't need to take a chorus. I can just do it myself. And so if choruses can develop a piece like that that will explain their relevance in the community, you know, the piece that is missing here is we don't make ourselves known. It's a secret until we want their money, until we want their grant or their ticket sales or their membership. And so something like that that you could take out to the Red Hat Society and use it in one of their meetings is outreach, and that's what we need to do more of.
Absolutely.
We need to be relevant.
Rotary meetings. Yeah.
When we had our meeting, like strategy meeting this summer, at that hotel, they had I don't know if it was just a certain region, but they had their Red Hat Ladies Convention. Those gals go all out when they're dressing. They had a whole circus theme too, and so there's animals and clowns, and it was really cool.
And sequins everywhere.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we have a couple different chapters here in Anchorage, and every year they coordinate and they come to our same one of our melodrama performances, and there's 50 or 60 of them, and on one side of the whole floor, and it's fun. You always know when they're in the audience. So. Cool.
Well, Sandi, thank you so very much for being here today. It was really an honor to have you. And I'm going to reach out and talk to you about the cruise and about it. And I just can't thank you enough.
Well, it was my pleasure. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and leave. And if you all have any other things to discuss, you can discuss it behind my back.
Would you put your email in the chat so if people want to reach out to you?
Sure.
Hey, Lori.
Would you mind sending out your evaluate assessment form via email?
Yes,
that
would be
helpful.
I'll tell you what.
I will include that when I send out the link with the recording.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to say I can send it to Sherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you've got it, Sherry, that's great.
Great. Hey, Lori.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sandi.
Thank you.
Lori.